So recently, aka last night, I was just on my phone, sadly scrolling, wasting my life away on, short form content. I forgot what platform it was, and just this fucking retarded TikTok reel or whatever the fuck came over my timeline. It was like this black dude, like, imagine being a stepfather in your 20s. So today we're going to talk about being a stepfather in modern day America. And I can tell you from actual experience, not being, a stepfather, I haven't had kids yet or, raised children yet, but I'll get into that. I believe that being a stepfather in the modern day world is so much more difficult than being just a dad at all. Because you have to balance out so many different things when it comes to, them not being your child, or then it's like your relationship, your history, all of this shit. There's so much going on to balance out for, taking care of this one person that you may or may not care about. You could be a present, stepdad and be a great guy. And this is just going to be autistic rambling, okay? Um, you can be a great stepdad or a dog shit one. You can just be. It really comes down to situations as well, because some kids don't want a stepdad. I know from my dad's experience, on his new relationship, her two kids, my stepmom, her two kids don't need a stepdad, so he just doesn't start anything, but just if they ever need him, he's there. And some people then are, you know what, man, fuck them kids. I just want to get some pussy, you know what I'm saying? Or some guys, take the step up. And this guy was just shitting on the guys who are willing to take a step up into the batter's cage and be a present father. And you know what? I think that's some bitch shit to sit here and shit on someone who actually wants to be a present father in someone's life. And you may be like, well, Ivan, these bitches, bro, these bitches and the bullshit in the games. That kid didn't do anything to you. That child did nothing to you. He didn't shin your cornflakes, motherfucker. He didn't fucking bitch about you about taking out the trash or whatever, between you and that girl, the mother. That wasn't fucking the kid's fault. He didn't ask to be fucking born. Train with at least basic decency and fucking respect, Like, I don't get that shit, because I'll tell you a lot about my history. When I was a teenager, my parents divorced when I was about 14 years old. And let me go back a little bit further. My dad was, before my parents got to when my parents got together, my mom had my older sister from a different relationship, and he raised her from 2 months old until the day they divorced. Now, I'm not saying my dad was perfect. I will be like the first guy to say he was flawed. He was not a perfect parent, but goddamn, he tried his fucking best. He actually showed up and did his fucking job. He was there to be the disciplinarian, the present father. He played both roles. He did everything he could. And when my parents divorced, my mom, got a new man, of course, and her first boyfriend that she met, with afterwards was this man. I'm not gonna say his name or anything about a relationship other than he treated me well, and we reciprocated the same energy. And I wasn't at a talking point with my dad at that point, and it was just me and him, and we had a really good relationship. And some of these motherfuckers shit on being a father if it isn't yours. Like, oh, you're raising someone else's child, blah 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 blah, or like, walking into a relationship and being the father that wasn't there. Now, don't get me wrong. Should you go find the most local ran through hoe and fucking, raise those children? Be there for the child. You don't have to be there for the mom. I think that if you aren't going to raise those children, no one else is going to. They're just going to grow up to just be demon spawn. And those same guys that throw stones at, you know, those children, or, the mom, and then those kids grow up without a parent, a real one, the real disciplinarian. They then grow up and become, shit people. And then those people are like, what? I can't believe it. So shit, this guy grew up without a proper parental figure. What? You didn't have a dad. And you know what? If the post is just rage bait, you know what? It's working perfectly. Like last night, I was just laying in bed, and afterwards, hearing the post, it was just pissing me off so fucking much. It's such a fucking stupid thing to say. It's so fucking dumb. Be a present fucking father to that random kid. Be a good fucking man. Be a fucking adult. Don't be a fucking pussy. Don't sit around here and talk about... Don't talk on the internet like a fucking bitch. As I talk on the internet like a bitch. But I would happily, if I could find the guy on the post, I would happily, link him and throw hands with him. Or sit down and talk to him like a proper adult, and, maybe see his perspective. I could be wrong. I can 100% be wrong. But also, I can say this as well about the downsides of it. My dad and my, older sister never got along, but also my older sister was always on demon time. So my dad, being a good father, had, put belt to ass. Not, literal belt to ass. He never, beat us or anything like that. No. He never did that. He hated that shit. He grew up in a broken household, He was a good guy, But they didn't have a good relationship, and until she became an adult, have they, the relationship has gotten better. But that's a downside of it. Those children, if you do wrong by them, even the slightest, they will fucking despise you. I know guys who didn't have good relationships at all with their step parents, not in the fucking slightest. And I know, a lot of guys like that. And I also, my parent or my mom, they didn't last forever. He went to jail. And the next guy, he was a fucking corrections officer. And he was actually another stand-up guy. And then my mom was like, you're not batshit crazy. I don't want anything to do with you. And then she found another fucking crazy guy. And then I left from her bullshit. And then I went to my real father and lived with him for a couple of years until, I got out on my own. And then here we are today. Hey, this is Ivan editing and post editing. I forgot to mention someone who was really important in between, me, living with my dad and living on my own. I forgot to mention my stepmom. She was always there. She stepped up and was the mom that my mom never fucking was. I've grown up my entire life around step parents and people who weren't the biological child and were the people that stepped up and were great people and just did what they were supposed to do. And that's why the post annoys the ever-living fuck out of me. That's why it gets under my skin so much from what this guy was saying. Because I grew up in moving around all the time and seeing, humanity through people who weren't the father, weren't the mom, and stepped up and did what they were supposed to do. And I'm always grateful. I always look back in the people who were good towards me and always, give thanks. So that's why I'm just editing and post. And if Amy ever sees this, she knows, well, she already knows, I think of her as my second mom, but I just wanted to bring her up. She matters a lot to me. Sorry. I mean this to say, to a man who's maybe in a situation, who has a girlfriend, let's just say from a past relationship, she had a child or two, maybe she cheated, or, her husband cheated, or boyfriend, whatever, there's just a child in the house. Treat him at the very least with just basic decency and respect, man. You'd be surprised how far it will go. I get it. After a bad day, long day of work, you're just fucking annoyed and tired, and you come home to some bullshit. Come home with patience. And I know it's fucking hard. I get it. I understand fully. You're not perfect, and it's a lot to deal with every single day. But you can do it, and in the future, you'll be proud of yourself for it. I hope that these words can help someone be a better parent. And some advice I would say for maybe if you want to be a parent or stepfather or stepmother, I check out Dry Creek Wrangler School. Just check out his words. Just for fucking anybody, really. That helped me a lot. And read parent books. Read, grow, learn. You're gonna fall flat on your face, but at least try to have accountability. Do right by that kid. He didn't do shit to you. I don't know. This is just autistic rambling like always from me. And to that guy who said, imagine. If it was rage bait, congratulations. You pissed me off. I was annoyed like a motherfucker. You got your engagement on your video to boost it up. So, whatever. If you're in upstate New York, I will happily throw hands with you, though. To everyone else, have a beautiful day. Except that guy. Eat shit and die.